So, I just watched the first episode of The Penguin, so now I'm here to tell you what I thought about it. So what is The Penguin? Well, it is the first spin-off show and the first follow-up to, of course, Matt Reeves' 2022 The Batman. Of course, that 2022 movie was an absolute slam hit, and most people that saw it absolutely loved this new interpretation of Gotham. And of course, in that movie, we got our first look at Colin Farrell, who plays the Penguin, one of the most iconic Batman villains ever. We've only really gotten two live adaptation versions of him. We had the version in Gotham, which is my favorite version of the character ever, and I'll probably be talking about it more throughout this video. And of course, we have Danny DeVito's Penguin, who's awesome. But the Penguin's just a great character. He's this character who becomes a mob boss in Gotham after starting out as kind of like a lowly freak, and he's very, very important to the Batman lore. Now, of course, the Batman came out 2 years ago at this point, and we've been waiting so long for the sequel, and no, this is not the sequel. It's kind of its own thing that feels very much disconnected from the Batman, but still exists in that world. And it's a show that follows Oswald Cobblepot, aka Oz Cobb, because they changed his name for some reason, after the events of the Batman when Falcone died, right? Carmine Falcone, the leader of the mob in Gotham, is dead, and now there's a power vacuum, and the Penguin wants to fill it. At the end of the Batman, it kind of was established that he had already filled it, but guess what? Nope, he didn't. We have to watch an 8-episode TV show about him filling that pocket vacuum. It kind of reminded me at like the end of Avengers Endgame when Sam gets the shield and you're like, oh, he's Captain America. And it's like, nope, not Captain America yet. You have to watch a 6-episode TV show for him to actually accept that he's Captain America. It's just kind of redoing storytelling. But either way, let me talk about the actual episode. I enjoyed parts of it, and there are other parts of it that I just find questionable. First off, Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell is one of the best actors in Hollywood. I absolutely love him, and this transformation just physically into becoming the Penguin and looking like Oswald Cobblepot with the makeup and the fat suit is super, super impressive. Performance-wise, though, I mean, let's just be honest. He's doing a Tony Soprano impression, and I cannot make this video without stating the obvious. Something about this performance, and it didn't bother me as much in The Batman because he was a side character, but now watching a show that completely revolves around him, I feel like I'm watching a dumbed-down version of Tony Soprano. And I just don't know how I feel about that, because when something is so blatantly trying to be something else and not really covering that up, I don't know if I could really get into it. His performance still is good if you ignore The Sopranos. If you ignore James Gandolfini, yes, it is a really great performance, but there are just lines and things that are happening in this show that just feel way too similar to that character and that performance. He even has mommy issues, and I know that the Penguin does have mommy issues, but just seeing the performance and the scene with the mother is like, whoa, they're really going for The Sopranos here. My dad, who doesn't know who the Penguin is, he doesn't know anything about Batman, walked into my room while I was watching this movie and said, why are they redoing The Sopranos? I said, guess what, Dad? They're not. This is a Batman spin-off show. And he said, what? Outside of that, though, there are a lot of things I enjoyed about this one episode. I enjoyed our reintroduction into Gotham. The world still feels like the Gotham from the Batman. Even if it feels a little bit smaller, it feels like the underground of that. It's still, you could tell it's the same world through its color grading and its cinematography. It's still beautiful. I also really love the score. It's not the Batman score, Penguin's own little score in this film, and I really love it. I also enjoy the Falcones, both the son that we get introduced to, who's like a little drunk prick, and then we eventually meet Sophia Falcone. I'm currently rewatching through Succession, so I love watching like these families of power and how the kids, the Nepo babies, kind of act in the absence of the patriarch. And Sophia Falcone, what a character. I can't wait to see her through the rest of the season, if she's going to be the main antagonist of this season of television. She is terrifying, and the actress that plays her is incredible. Probably the biggest highlight of the episode. She stole every single moment of it. What a character. I also like Penguin's relationship with his friend. I forgot his name, but the guy that he's bringing around, and their kind of interactions and how they relate to each other. I love that. And I do enjoy seeing this underdog story of this guy who's kind of seen like the loser rise up through power, and I'm assuming by the end of the season become the boss of Gotham. Even though, at the end of the Batman, when we're watching him in the iceberg lounge overlooking Gotham, all of our assumptions were, oh, he took over. We don't need a 10-episode, however many episode TV show explaining that he took over, because we see it. So it feels kind of like a side chapter, like a novella in between gigantic epic fantasy books. That's what it feels like, an unnecessary chapter of storytelling that you don't really need because you got it at the end of the movie. Maybe I'm wrong. And as somebody who's already seen this story told with the Penguin through Gotham, a TV show that none of you watch, but all of you should have watched because it's incredible, but a show where you see the Penguin go from being this kind of lowly, kind of pathetic dude to being the kingpin of Gotham is so well done throughout 5 seasons of television. So seeing it kind of rehashed now with Tony Soprano version of the Penguin instead of that unique version they had in Gotham is, I don't know, I'm just not that excited about it. But at the same time, there are a lot of elements about this episode that I obviously did enjoy, as I said. The overall production and how big this feels, it does feel like a continuation of the movie versus like network television or corny Marvel TV show bullshit. So I do appreciate that, and I am excited to see where it goes and if it improves. But I am just so weirded out by the whole Tony Soprano of it all. I'm like waiting for Colin Farrell to say gabagool. It's gonna happen at least once. I'm also weirded out how they confirm before the show even starts that the Batman's not gonna be in it. Robert Pattinson doesn't make an appearance, which is lame. Let's just be honest, it's a world with Batman. This is a main Batman villain, and the fact that he won't even appear in, like, a cameo in the last episode is so ridiculous, and it makes the world feel so small, and the reasoning the directors and everybody gave is so stupid. They said, oh, well, Batman can't be everywhere at once. And it's like, well, if you saw your own movie called The Batman, the entire point of Batman is that the criminals are terrified of him because it feels like he's everywhere at once. Did you not see the first scene in your own movie? That's the point, is that his presence looms over everything, even when he's not there. So if he has just no presence in this show, that will be silly, and I hope they're just kind of bullshitting on that, and I hope maybe there's a surprise by the end of the show. I'm holding out hope, or at least a lot of mentions of the fact that they have to be careful to not, you know, get the Bat involved in their shit. Because it's a Batman, I mean, really? I can't believe this is even, like, a debate online of people like, well, it's the Penguin show, you don't need the Batman. Like, fuck, yes, you do, he's there! Let's just be real, if Pattinson doesn't show up in this show, I wish the directors and the showrunners would just come out and say why. They didn't want to pay him. The budget of the show is probably already ridiculous, and they were like, oh, why will we pay millions of dollars to get Pattinson to show up for a second? We're not gonna do that, because it would be dumb, business-wise. But it's even dumber story-wise to leave him out, that is. But yeah, so far, I enjoyed the show. I have my problems as I laid them out. Let's see where it goes. This is gonna be a new series called Penguin Mondays, where we talk about the Penguin every Monday until the show's over. So make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next one.